How are they demonstrated that these people have shown themselves to have some better argument than the default of don't make a mess? And let's understand the default has no demonstrable harm related to it. So the default of doing nothing, not reproducing, has no logical, describable harm possible. No one will go to jail. Nobody will burn to death. No possible harm can come to somebody if you don't create them.
So I replied to that saying that, yeah, I can accept that, but that, you know, basically that it isn't a very interesting statement, given that we've identified what the value is, and that the value isn't in the my child, and the value isn't in the child, in feeling child, and let alone the fact that we live in an economy of things that are feeling. And so the question is really not the relative merits of having a child and not having a child, but what the exchange rate is with all the discernible harmables.
Fuck you and this stupid idiotic argument you keep making about life. The biosphere, the fact that that the tendency is for the energy that the sun's producing to create animation. And so if a certain form of life doesn't populate, that there'll be other replacement forms. That's a fine theory, but the truth is that human beings have eradicated a lot of large mammals from the face of the earth. And we've actually made dead things, dead places in the sea. And that a lot of the organisms that have replaced the biosphere that we've eradicated are parasitic in the sense that they're microscopic organisms. So in terms of sentient life, we've probably reduced the amount of sentient life on Earth. Clearly, I mean, when you burn down a rainforest, you reduce the life mass, the biomass, you know, by thousands of percentages per pound. So, I mean, whatever, just fuck you. And the argument was about ethics anyway. The argument was about what are your ethical responsibilities. We're not talking about imposing ethical responsibilities on animals who have no capacity to do any of that thinking. So it wasn't even part of the narrow thought experiment. So you really are just being kind of an obnoxious troll. So I guess everybody's going to end up hating you. you know, with that kind of attitude anyway.
Well, first up, I suppose I'm slightly insulted in that you kind of implied that I might be suggesting that we, you know, try to persuade animals of our ethical standards. I merely meant it in the same way that I mean, you know, like animal welfare legislation. They're not designed to inform animals of their rights and obligations. I mean, what I would say really is that I found this exchange really useful to me personally, because I had mistakenly, I think I had made a mistake in assuming why you had abandoned AN in favour of you know, an extension to the animal world, and I thought you had dismissed AN for the same reason I had, which was, you know, I could see the obvious conflict there is between AN and epilism, if you want to call it that. That you know, there's a reason why the Benatar guy didn't extend it. You know, he sort of hinted that it might be extended to the animal world, but he didn't go there, and I think he probably didn't go there for the good reason that you can find yourself in kind of weird places where it would make sense for you to have a child if it meant that you could waste, if you like, resources on that child which would otherwise be used by hundreds of animals to go about their business, and that the problem with well, for me, that seemed to be the most logical problem with AN once you start to consider the wider biosphere, that it then suddenly becomes in direct conflict with it, and I thought that was obvious, but apparently not, because of all the arguments and stuff going on about this. I don't see any discussion of ecology. I mean, the evolutionary stuff, everybody's got an opinion on evolution, but really I don't see the, and that's my thing too, I'm interested in evolution or whatever, but I really can't see that it's particularly relevant to this topic, or it's insignificant compared to ecology. Yeah, so that was kind of strangely useful.